It's been a little bit, hasn't it? Sorry I couldn't give this update to you guys sooner. First off, I want to say I'm alive. Um, I know there's a lot of thoughts of like, what has he been doing? It's been 4 years. One of his videos broke a million. He broke like 1,000 subscribers. Which, first off, I want to say, thank you for getting me to that point. Um, I started YouTube like back in 2010 on Canadian Thanksgiving, so I was very unorganized. Um, but I got to a point where I wanted to start doing more content, and to me, like at the time when I was getting like 30 subs, that meant the world to me, and it still does in hindsight because I was having fun with what I was doing. Um, at the end of the day, if you're not having fun with what you're doing on YouTube, then why continue it? That's kind of why I left initially. Um, but I think I should get into that a little bit later. But I want to say what I've been like, where I've been, what I've been doing, where I am in life right now, firsthand. This is going to be a long one, as you can probably tell by the timestamp. So strap yourself in. So as you know, by now you can probably tell, I graduated high school. This is back in 2020. So yes, the pandemic hit. I graduated. It was literally the worst time to graduate, but nothing much I could do. I'm just born in 2002. That's kind of how it is. Um, but during high school, I met some of the like coolest people I've ever met, both in real life and online. I met some really close friends, people that like I don't think I'm going to be losing them anytime soon. Even if I've made some mistakes in the past, I no, I wouldn't trade those people for the world. Now I'm in university, where I currently have a place in with a couple of roommates, really cool people. Um, and I'm studying. That's a good question. Studying general arts, visual arts. Genuinely, I don't quite know what my direction is in life, other than I want to create. I have a bit more of an idea of what I want to create on this channel more than what I want to create in my life. So that's a bit telling for the signs of where I am. But don't worry, because I don't plan on leaving you guys in the dark for as long as I did ever again. As of late, I've been focusing like a lot, like with visual arts, I've been focusing a lot on like character creation, OCs, and just for refining my art. I have like about 7 damn sketchbooks that I've been drawing in since like 2013. So I guess I've just taken more of a focus to it in the past like 3 years. So I've been having fun with it, and like I said earlier, if you're not having fun with something, then like you know why stay to it? If you're having fun with something, stay in it. Now, this obviously isn't going to cover everything that happened in the past 4 years, because if you've known me, you're a close friend of me, you'd know that if I were to cover everything of how my life went in the past 4 years, I'd like be here for probably 5 hours because all the intricacies of all the situations. Like I easily couldn't cover it in this reasonable amount of time. Just know that you got to know who the people close to you are. There are some really important people in your life. Keep them close, and don't ever make mistakes that can involve losing them at all. Oh yeah, another thing changed when in the past little bit. 2020, it came out. Still a dude. He, him. I'm not gonna forget my fucking pronouns. I'm pansexual. Um, it doesn't really matter to me. You're still gonna get the same old stupid Jack, regardless. For some of you, that's a blessing. Some of you, it's a curse. I don't really care. And probably the biggest change that happened in those past years is I've met the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. Um, Lifelong partner, because I would do anything for them. They've really helped me change things for the better, and in fact, recently talking with them has, made me want to, you know, come back to YouTube a little bit more and come back to content creation because, God, that's some of the times I've been the happiest, in all honesty. All right, so I know personal stuff kept it pretty short, like about almost 5 minutes now. Um, but I also want to talk about another thing that's pretty important: games. I know I'm a gamer at heart. But I kind of want to talk about some of the stuff that I've played and some of the stuff I've watched over the course of the time I've been gone. I got into the Tales of franchise back in like 2015. 2015 was a huge year of getting into games. There was the Tales franchise, there was Devil May Cry, No More Heroes. I could go on, but most notably, it was the Tales of franchise. Um, and recently, I've gotten more into the franchise outside of just Abyss, Symphonia, Vesperia, and Exilia. So it's been a lot of fun playing those recently, and getting a new appreciation for them, even on replays. Beforehand, Abyss was my favorite Tales game, and it's like a very very close second. But I have to thank Exilia for probably being my favorite game in the franchise because of how much it means to me personally, and how much it set me on a path that made me want to be more true to myself overall. It wasn't really. It's more about being on a path of who I want to be and who I am versus what people expect me to be. Tales of Vesperia. Played the original at one point with a friend because um, I haven't owned an Xbox 360. I do now. Get it like a hand-me-down, just to play some older games. But I played the original Vesperia with a friend. Then Definitive Edition came out, and I'm still working on it. It's a very very long game, so you gotta forgive me there. And Tales of Symphonia, the most popular game in the franchise. I think it's a fantastic game. I think that the remaster on the Switch it needs some performance updates. Like the stuff that's there is kind of unacceptable. Tales of Berseria is a very very great game that you can get on your PlayStation 4 and 5 for a very very cheap price, as well as getting on the PlayStation 3 and PC if that's your cup of tea. It's a great game that leads into and it's a great prequel for Zestiria, the game that released before, but I just recommend playing Berseria before, so you can actually appreciate the world and like stuff that Zestiria does that otherwise you wouldn't really care too much for. Tales of Grace's F is a fun time. I watched my partner play through it. I still own the game myself, and I need to properly play through it. But it was a fun time to watch. From what I played with the combat, it's pretty fun. It'll only get better once I finish the game for myself. But I've watched my partner, like I said, watch my partner play through the whole game. Pascal kind of saved society as it is, so yeah. Oh, and Tales of Exilia 2 is probably one of the best sequels just for any game ever. The direction it takes, the characters, both original and old, is really, really, really stellar. And I'll make it through Heartsar and Legendia soon. Boy, just taking my PS2 to here is fight in and of itself. I already have enough consoles here, and powering up my Vita to play a solid 6 out of 10 game. I'm in the opening act, so Lord forgive me. It's a lot. It's a lot. Other thing that's kind of important is the Xenoblade franchise. I mean, as you can probably see right here. Um, yeah, like given that the fact that Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is my favorite game of all time, and that in my time away it got remastered. Which don't worry, I was on that day one. I really wish that was one of the reactions I could record and post because my god, I was the first frame of that trailer, I lost my mind when Definitive Edition was revealed. That game is very, very stellar and fixes the only real problem with the first Xenoblade, in my opinion, being the visuals. Because, my god, the visual overhaul did the game a huge ass favor. And I realized I never gave my opinion on Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I I really like the game. It's like a solid 9 out of 10. I don't know why I'm being so like pushy. I like the first game more. There's nothing much to that. I had a phase where I didn't like the game because it was getting too much attention, um, and I was just a one hipster. And there was also one person in particular who was praising the game despite not beating it, so it left a sour taste in my mouth. But I'm at the point now where I'm like, I'm an adult. I don't give a shit. It's a very, very good game. And Xenoblade 3, it's a good end to the trilogy. I need to go through it 100% and give my proper thoughts on it because it came out like last summer, and I need a lot more of a proper conscience on this game and to think of it in a better light because so far I think it's pretty pretty solid and then takes a bit of a nosedive. But like I said, I think a proper replay could be in order, but that won't be happening for a while. Another game that was I was given attention before my absence was Persona 5, which yeah, it's still a really solid game. It's still in my top three. It's a top three game easily. I owe a lot to the game, and I think I want to properly talk about it in its own video. But just know that I still love the game, and Royal made it even better. Another game that I really loved that I played over the time I've been gone, the Somnium Files. If you have any passing interest in any visual novel game like Ace Attorney or even the treacherous D Word, um, I think you should play this game. Or just if you're a fan of games in general, that the Somnium Files is a fantastic story that you just won't ever forget. I still need to finish Nirvana Initiative. I'm in the middle, or not in the middle of it. In the, I'm in like the at the end of the third quarter, I think. Yeah, that's about roughly where I put myself. But it's a really solid game. And I really recommend the first game. It goes on sale like all the damn time. Oh, another franchise that is a little important to me, I think. Pokemon, yeah. Um, so despite every game and replaying a bunch of games, Pokemon X is still my favorite in the Pokemon franchise. I know that's a very hot take considering that people dog on Gen 6, but I've been its strongest holder since day one, and I'm just waiting for the come around to happen because of the Pokemon opinion cycle, and I'm just waiting for everyone to get their true opinions about the game out because I really do appreciate Gen 6 for what it did and for the replay value that X and Y have that a lot of people don't believe it has. Sword and Shield came out. They definitely weren't my cup of tea. British joke. I could see the cracks of a good game there, but like as it stands, it's not really for me. God, my hair is so great. Oh my god. And his beard too. I bet you didn't expect to see that little prepubescent kid back in 2016 with a beard. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl were by definition remakes. Um, I wish they could have done a little bit more. I think the Dex cut really hurt Gen 8 in general because we're still getting used to it all. But like, come on, man! Like BTS, like we couldn't even get Sylveon into the game. We couldn't get some mechanics of newer games. It had to be exactly like it was back then, but with fairy typing now and maybe some new health items. Like, come on, I think we deserved a little bit more. Legends Arceus is brilliant and a really great breath of fresh air for the franchise. Um, I still need to complete the decks in it, but I've been making progress recently, and it's so fantastic. I highly recommend picking it up if you've never really gotten into the Pokemon games. I think that's a good starting point because, like, or rather, if you just couldn't get into the previous games, if you felt a bit too playing it safe, but like this takes risks. Some work, some don't. It's a fantastic game nonetheless, and I think it's definitely worth your time. And Scarlet and Violet, open world games of the craze with Nintendo, um, and Scarlet and Violet is definitely no exception. It is pretty solid. It's a really solid turnaround for the franchise. It took what Legends Arceus did and did like more in a proper Pokemon setting instead of like a prequel setting. Um, but it needs performance upgrade. Like, there's no excuse for some of the stuff it does. Granted, most of the issues are mostly in multiplayer, but there are still some single player issues that definitely need ironing out, along with the multiplayer ones. Can't wait for the DLC. Bring Pancham back, you fucking cowards. I've been playing a ton of fighting games more. Well, it's not like I hadn't been playing them before. I left, but I've been playing them a lot more with a lot more variety. I was playing BB Tag and Guilty Gear beforehand, but nowadays I'm playing a lot more with games like, well, obviously Guilty Gear Strive came out. It's a really solid game, but it just needs more to retain attention more and actually give us like proper updates and not just playing off of one character from the DLC and just riding at that popularity until it dies. That being said, I think Bridget is a great rep. I just wish that other characters could also get some focus sometimes. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is a great game. I don't care what anyone says. The visual style of that game is unmatched. And it's about to get even better with Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising. Both the visual style, characters, gameplay, everything. everything's getting a complete upgrade. And if you don't hop on the game when Rising comes out, I'm actually concerned if you like fighting games at all, because the original was fun and Rising looks to be even better. I need to play more Under Night and Birth. I played it before I started to fall off, but I need to play it more. That game's just fun. Problem is actually finding like games online on the PlayStation. King of Fighters is fun. I wish I had a better online mode, but if you could play it locally and have some friends that actually know how to play fighting games, then it's fun. Luckily, I have a partner who likes playing fighting games with me, so I kind of have a bit of leeway in this department. Like I mentioned before, BB Tag was fun, and it still is fun. Always will be fun. It's just a fun fighting game. Don't take it too seriously. Just have fun with it, for God's sake. That's what games are about. And that being said, I'm excited for Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. I haven't been playing too much 5 or Street Fighter 5 or Tekken 7 recently, but there's decent games, and I hope that the sequels are even better than them. But we'll have to see in the coming year. And I think I should talk about Smash Ultimate since a now deleted video of my initial reaction to the game. I feel like it's also pretty important to give my thoughts on it. I wanted Joker for Persona 5 in the game when it was first announced. If you can somehow find the unlisted reaction video, you can see my description saying I wanted Joker Rex Decidueye. Only got 1.5 of them, so I'll take it. But he plays amazingly, and definitely a great rep from one of my favorite games ever. Pretty happy. I love my hair. Hero was a fun no-brainer addition to Ultimate. I mean, Japan friggin' loves Dragon Quest, so there's no reason not to include him. Great pick. Along with Banjo-Kazooie, same thing, but the West, I like how Banjo-Kazooie feels like has a melee moveset, because that's how long it was requested, so great addition. Terry was a very, very fun character. It took me a while to get used to him, but I think it took me getting into King of Fighters to truly appreciate him, but he's a really, really great addition. He deserves to be here. Byleth is a great addition. I don't care what anyone says about too many Fire Emblem characters. I think just Korn ruined the vibe of it. If Korn wasn't in Smash Bros., Byleth would be the first addition, brand new Fire Emblem character to Smash after Robin. Like that was it would be like a 6-year jump, and like that feels reasonable and warranted, especially for how much Three Houses sold. Only DLC character I didn't really care for is Min Min, because Arms is mid. It's just mid. There's no way to sugarcoat it. I own the game. I played the Global Test Punch. That game, it is so boring. Steve is the most insane addition. I know everyone's already said it. Minecraft Steve's in Smash Bros. Broke Twitter, blah blah. In terms of banning the character, I don't care. Just get good at the game. Oh, people can get good with Steve. Yeah, you can get good with Steve too. If someone's cheesing you, you can cheese them back. It's perfectly fair. Sephiroth is the most perfect choice for a third-party villain, not including Kazuya or Heihachi and that sort of third-party villain debate. But in terms of the third-party characters that we have, I think the best choice for a villain was, in fact, Sephiroth. Pyre Mythra, my second favorite DLC edition. I know, shocking. I like the Persona 5 and Xenoblade Reps in DLC. I know, revelation of the century. They should have made, like I said, I wanted Rex in base game, and it's a little sad they didn't work out the way I thought they were. I'm perfectly happy with their addition. I like their movesets. Like I said, I wish it was more of a driver blade combo, but if it's just blade, then that works. It feels more like Torna, if anything. Kazuya Mishima, another really, really good addition for DLC. Tekken is a franchise that deserves rep in Smash Bros. In some degree, especially with how Bandai Namco is co-developing the game. I wish we could have also gotten a Tails rep at some point, since that's another one of their big franchises and has gotten them a lot of money, especially with the Rise's like recent success. I think it's worth noting, but I also will not mind waiting for a proper Tails rep outside of just a Mii costume. Sora was the perfect way to end the DLC. Winner of the Smash ballot, the closest thing you'll ever get to a non-video game character in Smash. Yeah, I'm glad that it's mostly KH1 focused, because I feel like KH2 or 3 would get way too wacky, and like I think we'll probably break the game. The Mario Kart DLC. I think it's personally really great. I like the tracks that they're choosing. Maple Treeway made it, so that's all I really care about. In terms of characters they should add, really all I think is Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, and Nabbit and whoever else they want to add from Tour, then go for it. Fire Emblem. So I've already played all the games. I say all the games. Echoes is still my favorite. I've already played them before my disappearance, but Three Houses and Engage came out. Three Houses is really, really stellar. I just wish the fandom was better and that people would get the point of it a little bit more. There's no golden ending in the game. That's what makes the game really good. I still need to finish Three Hopes, but I've seen most of Blue Lion's route, so as far as to my understanding, that's a good grip on on some of the game. But like I said, I need to get my full opinion. I need to play other games, the full game to get my full opinion. And Engage, I'm on like chapter 20 of Engage. It's ironically not very engaging. I I enjoy some of the characters. I enjoy the gameplay. Like, oh man, there's it feels like they want to rush out the game so that they can actually get another Fire Emblem game out there, like in the coming year or two. That's why, like the DLC, the final DLC packs are going to come out in a few days, as of when I'm recording this. Devil May Cry 5 and Neo: The World Ends with You are some of the best sequels I could ever ask for some of my favorite games. Um, if you haven't played them, I recommend starting with DMC3, working your way through the timeline, skipping 2 in the reboot, and for 2 just play the original The World Ends With You, then play Neo The World Ends With You. It's pretty simple. I recommend Final Remix. That's my controversial take. And some other good games I just want to name drop here. Scarlet Nexus, Valhalla, and Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. Those are some really, really, really solid games. As of recording this, Resident Evil 4 Remake hasn't come out yet, and I'm excited for it, along with Tears of the Kingdom. So I am pretty happy. Technically, Resident Evil 4 came out today. It is a Thursday. Some people are getting it early. That's I need to get some money. All right, that's all I want to talk about with games. I'll be talking about shows and movies that I've watched since disappearing, my thoughts on them, and I'll be saving an obvious one for at the end. So, I don't know how much my opinion can be validated anymore. I love Fairy Tail. It's genuinely probably my top 5 anime. If not, I adore that show. It is engaging. It's fun. The characters are enjoyable. It gets dogged on way too much. People that take it too seriously just need to learn the power of friendship. For God's sake, that shit's fun. Love Live is a franchise I got myself into pretty hard. I don't know if you can see back there. Um, Kanata Kanoe is my favorite character. She's great. I recommend watching it. Whenever you get the chance, just like give it a shot. It's fun. I don't regret getting into it. My girlfriend also got me into Soluble Stars along with Love Live. Another fun idol series. I wish that fandom was literate, but that the show is pretty good, and I don't own the game, but it looks like a fun rhythm game. I just once again wish that the fandom was literate, and yeah, I don't want any any pitchforks coming my way for that. I loved watching Kaguya-sama Love Is War. That is like probably the best rom-com I've ever seen because stuff actually goes somewhere. I'm still I, I'm just watching the anime. I'm at the end of season 3. I'm waiting for the movie to come out since I wanted to watch the movie with my girlfriend, but we didn't get the chance to watch it in theaters, and we want to see if it's dubbed because we really do like watching stuff dubbed. Konosuba is the perfect satire for the isekai genre because most of it is pretty bad. Um, I just wish general perception of that show wasn't just sex jokes because that show is good. It just full of awful characters who you end up caring for. All right, enough of the cringe shows. I'm on on season 3 of Breaking Bad. That's a good show. I don't regret getting into it. I'm also like around the same point in BoJack Horseman. I guess I'm just enjoying shows of people at the bottom of their lives. It's enjoyable. There's also The Boys, which is a fun show. I just once again like Ensemble Stars. Weird comparison, but I just wish people would get the point of the show. All right, now I can talk about movies. The How to Train Your Dragon movies are some of my favorite movies. Well, specifically 1, 2, and 3 get very close, and they're of equal quality. The sequels are of equal quality. I don't care what anyone says; they're both really stellar. RRR, very random jump, but last year, the movie that came out last year, RRR, Rise, Roar, Revolt, I think it's called. I also just call it RRR. It is one of my favorite movies. It's 3 hours long, but if you could sit down, you can have one of the best experiences ever watching something. And The Big Lebowski is one of my favorite movies still. There's no other film quite like it. It's in the top five along with RR and How to Train Your Dragon 1. Maybe I can make a movies list at some point. And I'm caught up with current shonen being My Hero, Demon Slayer, and with My Hero, the dub, Demon Slayer, I'm like chapter 150 of the manga. I'll probably just wait for the rest to be animated since I just prefer the anime rather than the manga because Ufotable makes that concept work way better than it does as a manga. And I'm caught up with the Chainsaw Man manga. Um, yeah. All right, so now we're done with most of those shows. I think it's time I address the big show that a lot of people know me for. Um, Ruby. Um, let's talk. So I haven't really given my thoughts on the show or really anything about the show past past volume 4. Like at the beginning of volume 5, that's when I uploaded my last Ruby Dank Memes video, which I'm not proud of because 7 felt like a rushed job. It did not feel like a proper video. Um, but I'll give it a shot, giving my thoughts on the volume since then. Volume 5 was way better than people give it credit for. It set up a lot of stuff and actually gave good character moments. Like Yang questioning why she would want Blake there after she ran. That good tight moment between Yang and Weiss. Why do people ship Yang and Blake? That's a different subject I'm not going to delve into right now. But I think Volume 5 is pretty good. Overall, it gets a lot of flack, but stuff actually happens, and they write the characters more in character than in later volumes. Volume 6 had some great concepts and some killer moments. I just felt underwhelmed by the ending. I just did. It's like, what's the big thing? A giant mech fight. Okay, cool, but this is another person who doesn't really have any ill will. They're more like a Team Rocket character. Oh, and then the last episode, there's like a giant Grim attack. Like, who really cares too much? Then they killed off Adam. I'm not one of the people who say, "Oh, Adam had missed potential." Blah blah. I just I thought they were gonna keep him around for longer. Maybe do some more with him. I don't really care. He's gone. Boo hoo. I don't care too much for Adam. I just found it weird that he's gone now. And Bumblebee, I feel like I should address the elephant in the room. I'm not a fan of how they're writing it. I believe Bumblebee was part of the plan of Ruby since the beginning. I just think that they rushed into it now. I think that they were initially going to slow burn it, but they needed to retain attention, so they're like, all right, we're all the way over here. See, look, they're together. Haha. It felt like they were going to wait on Yang and Blake on their feud for a while longer until they could actually become friends and then potentially get even closer. But screw it, we can eliminate the feud in basically like 2 episodes and get them together in less. So 3 episodes into Volume 7, I fell out of the franchise. It was just life. Like I didn't necessarily have any huge problems with Volume 7 at the time because it was so early on, but I just fell out of it because life was catching up. I had to do other stuff. So I fell out of it for a while until like March 2021 when Volume 8 was finishing. Volume 7 is a volume, it needed way more time in the oven. They took a break from between 8 and 9, but I felt they could have been done between 6 and 7 because it it was just full of characters acting out of character. Like ships are getting rushed into, moments were just felt like they existed just so they could trend and be memey and all that stuff. It felt like they just wanted to push out another review volume just to get the word out there so they don't lose money. In Volume 8, I feel like it's a fantastic subversion that took risks in splitting the group up properly and in a healthy way, and actually let Yang be her own character and let Blake be her own character, because in Volume 7, they were goddamn inseparable. There was nothing, there was barely any scenes where you can get them on their own or where they don't mention each other. The Bechdel test exists. It's the Bumblebee test. And Volume 9 so far is interesting, at least. I believe either episode 5 or 6 just aired. And I'll be seeing the next one Saturday, so that should be fun. But yeah, I think it's a good time to wrap up my media thoughts. Okay, we're about 30 minutes in now. The real question is, what do I want to do with this channel? Because it's been dormant for 4 years. I think one thing that I should mention is editing software has kind of messed up. I used to run stuff on my MacBook. I know, ideal editing software on iMovie. But now I run on a Windows computer, and editing is a lot harder with the current updates and making Movie Maker basically impossible to work with. So I'm kind of stuck until I can find a proper new editing software that I can learn and feasibly get good old recording software um, working in time and making more videos. That's why this one has barely had any editing. The only thing is like cuts that which are in the camera app on my computer. So even then, there's literally no editing in this video. But on the rare chance that I can get my editing equipment all together, I do have some stuff I want to do with this channel because I have the urge to come back. I miss this, and I'm having fun making this update video, giving my thoughts again. So what I want to do, I want to properly finish Ruby Dank memes, whether that be with the next video or I maybe make one video per volume or something like that. Who knows? Point is, I want the series that kind of bolstered my subscriber base outside of my one Metal Gear meme video to actually get proper justice. Which I think I should talk about the Metal Gear meme video. Any explanation as to why it hit big? It was literally just timing in the algorithm. There's like no other no other reason. Genuinely, I just hit it big, luckily out of nowhere. And I'm glad people enjoyed it. That's really all it. So thank you for giving me past a million views and over 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for everyone who watched and contributed. Genuinely, that means a lot. Whereas for other stuff I want to do, I want to potentially make some video essays. Not like becoming video essay McGee, but like maybe once every few months, maybe once I'm getting back on my editing software stuff, because I have a lot of ideas for them. Like, but certain games and media mean to me, certain ways I'd rewrite stuff in media, and just make videos about my own creative endeavors outside of existing media that I want to talk about. Another thing is making countdown videos. I've wanted to make countdown videos forever. Literally, back in 2016, before Ruby Memes, where all my videos are unlisted, I was working on a very, very big video, and it just never saw the light of day. And I want to see if I can revive it, being a giant top 50 list. And this is a list with energy, something back from the early 2010s countdown era. But don't worry, I won't be doing 40-second long intros again. That's all good. And lastly, I want to see if I can play some games, whether that be streaming or just playing them, just playing some games I enjoy, like maybe like some Zelda, Ocarina, or Xenoblade, or just any game that I feel like. If you guys show enjoyment for it, then I can continue, or if not, I can just continue, but put it a bit more on the back burner. And yeah, that kind of covers a lot of what I want to do with the channel. I want to come back to making videos. What types of videos those be? They can be plot summaries, let's plays, countdowns, video essays, finishing off Ruby games. Oh, look, Convenient 5. And just being back here would make me pretty happy, because even though it's a completely different landscape now and people thrive off of shorts, I miss this place a lot, and I really want to get back to content creation. Once my editing software is working again, of course, because this is very much a hodgepodge video, because I think you guys deserve an answer as to where I've been. There are plenty of future projects I have planned for YouTube and outside of YouTube, and I hope that you guys are willing to stick it through with me and put up with my obnoxious face and voice just for a little while longer, while I find my footing again and I can make some really, really amazing stuff. But till then, I think you guys deserve. I think it's been a while, and I appreciate you all for your patience and willing to watch this far into the video. Now, with all that being said, thank you for watching, and this is Jacktician signing off. hopefully for more.